think when you're a bit younger and you go to these clubs, it can be a little bit intimidating, not knowing anyone. But it is tough, even being older and going to new clubs. You've got to find your feet and prove yourself to your manager, prove yourself to your fellow teammates and stuff. So
how do you go about doing that? What advice would you give to a younger player?
You need to go in at 100%. You've been signed by the manager for a reason. They know you're good enough. So make sure you train hard. Make sure you're committed to it. And you want to be there basically.
How have you dealt with all of these moves and different people and different teams?
It's been tough. So I think I've played for maybe 8 teams, and there was a loan system at West Brom where the younger players would go out on loan from 17. So I've been all over the place, and it's been hard for me to get settled. So this is what I've been looking for, is somewhere to settle and play my games and just block out everything else.
Have you always been part of AFC Wimbledon? Have you transitioned anywhere else to here?
Yeah, I was at Palace about 3 years ago, yeah.
And you moved from Palace to here?
Nah, well, I got released from Palace and I played non-league for a few seasons.
How was that release? Like, what did you
like,
see like could get out the door, or?
Pretty much, like, I went there and they didn't really like me from the start, so I wasn't getting much game time.
Like
yeah, no.
Why is that?
I don't know, it's because I went as a centre back, but at that time I was smaller, so they didn't really want to pay me there, so I ended up playing right back.
How'd that make you feel, like walking out of the grounds for like the last time? Is it a bit shit, or?
Yeah, of course, like for a while, I don't know, like, I didn't really want to play football, like, yeah.
How'd you get back?
I just started playing football for fun again, so I started playing Sunday League and I enjoyed it there. And then obviously I got a child here, so I thought I might as well give it a try. Yeah.
Now you're
paid
in the
out.
academy, right? What advice would you give these younger players to help them transition into kind of the bigger team?
I think it's more about bringing something to the session, whether it be energy, enthusiasm. We also kind of maybe talk to them to say if they have a problem, don't feel that you can't come and speak to a coach or ask questions and things like that. So we encourage them to, use their voice, make themselves be heard, whether it's to us or their peers or some of the older guys, so that they can then establish their self within the team, basically.
Do you see some of the kids struggle going into the bigger team?
Yes, ultimately. These are young boys, and some of them look older than they actually are, so you could have a 6'1", 6'2", 17, 18, 19-year-old who, looks like a man, but inside he's still a 16, 17-year-old. Plus we don't know his background and, the issues he's having at home and stuff. So yeah, people deal with it very differently. We try to, as much as possible, have an open environment, but ultimately, yes, some boys do struggle when transitioning from academy to first team.
Like I've played with and seen a lot of players struggle after their career's done. So that's why I wanted to go into it. I'm very intrigued by sports psychology and how the brain works and stuff. So for me, it's a no-brainer, and I think the longer, by the time I come to the end of my career, mental health and sports psychology in every sport would be huge.
So I went from first team football at Leyton Orient on the fringes, and then I say on the fringes because I was playing reserve team football, where you go from playing reserve team football into Sutton playing men's football, so it is a completely different transition. For me, it's the best thing I could have ever done because it made me grow up at a young age. Rather than playing under 21s, under 23s football, I was playing men's football from the age of 19. So for me personally, at the time I was broken-hearted when I got released, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me in the long run.
How was it being let go?
I was at Liverpool for 6.5 years, and in the last season of my contract there, I had a club come in for me that wanted me to be the number one. Obviously being such a fantastic club and a massive club like that, it was difficult to break in and become the number one at that club. And then I went to Oldham Athletic in League One and dropped down a couple of leagues to play football. That's what you want to do as a young kid. So for me it was a sense of pride having represented that fantastic club, but also understanding that, okay, maybe you need to drop down to play games and get noticed and forge a career for yourself.